Hello again, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic I know is going to resonate with some of you guys, and I just want to tell you in advance, I'm preaching to myself today a little bit. So I'm preaching to myself and hopefully to you guys as well. So, topic is, the narcissist will reap what they sow. They will. So I want to read something to you first. Proverbs 26:27, very short, but you've probably heard it before, but here it is. It says, "He who digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will fall back on them." So think about that. A lot of us wonder about these narcissists, whether they were in your family, whether they were a friend or were a friend, somebody that you were in a relationship with. We wonder, don't we, are they going to get what they have coming to them? I know you might be thinking, that's a bad question to ask. I know there are certain days where I don't even think that way, because the truth is, I feel very sorry for the narcissist in one sense, and I will get to that at the end. But I'm going to tell you today, the narcissist will reap what they sow. They'll get it. They have to get it. It's literally inevitable. And I'm going to tell you that there are three that the narcissist gets and will get what they have coming to them. So the first one is, I'll just call this physically. However you want to put it. I'll explain what my first reason is for this. You cannot treat people the way the narcissist treats people continuously throughout your life, on and on, over and over, and not have something calamitous occur. You cannot do it. This is just a fact of the way that the world is constructed, the way that God constructed this world. It's almost a law in itself. And that's why Proverbs talks about it. He who digs a pit will fall into it. Meaning, if you are going to do things that set yourself up for failure, you're going to fail. You might put it another way. The bed that you make is the one that you'll have to lie in. That's how this goes. So the narcissist blows people up all throughout their lives. They really do. It's a game. It's these little demonic, childlike, petulant games that they play. I was talking to a friend recently, and the person is dealing with a little bit of this in her life as well, and they're always up to something. They literally are always plotting and scheming something, even if it's small, even if it's insignificant. They've got something cooking. Small, large, in between. And so they're always plotting against people. They're always thinking of the next way to scam you and scheme against you. Well, you know what? You can't do these things all throughout your life without facing it at some point. And I mean specifically on this point, my number one point, when you're going to gaslight people, and you're going to do crazy making stuff, and you're going to verbally abuse people to oblivion, and you're going to give them silent treatment, and you're going to walk off the scene and ghost them, and specifically, when you're going to triangulate them with former exes or new people, or you're going to flat out cheat, and I've talked about cheating a lot. My view is every narcissist who can, I clarify this, every narcissist who can cheat will cheat. It's just in their DNA. It's just how they operate. So you can't do this to people your whole life and expect to not meet somebody at some point in time who's maybe a little unhinged, or maybe is a little toxic or very toxic like you are, and maybe they're hiding it and they're fooling the narcissist for a period of time. Sooner or later, you do something like this to the wrong person, you bring in an ex, or you triangulate them, or you flirt with another person, or you threaten to leave, as the narcissists always do. There's all these little mini discards throughout the relationship where they break up with you and come back and break up and come back and break up. Little mini breakups. You can't do that to some folks out there, because what will they do? They'll fly off the handle. They'll stalk the narcissist. And it's not surprising, because every narcissist I've heard of talks about having stalkers. because they rile these people up, and they rev them up, rather, and they get them going. They get their juices flowing in this person by breadcrumbing and future faking, and they talk to them, and they're flirtatious, and that person starts to think there's something there. Well, that's how they accumulate stalkers. They're so flirtatious with their Jezebel spirit. You can see how this all creates problems, because sooner or later, that narcissist, if they already haven't, they will meet someone, or perhaps more than one person, who is not going to put up with this stuff, and they're going to take care of it in mean and maniacal ways too. That could mean sexual events transpire against the narcissist's will, if you catch my drift, or flat out physical abuse, life-threatening situations, cops showing up, you name it. Because if you screw with the wrong person, they will do incredibly evil and crazy things to you. This is inevitable in some ways for many of these narcissists, because you can't do that your whole life. You're gonna get it. It's gonna backfire on you. So that's the number one way, just not the one most important, but just my first, of how the narcissist will reap what they sow, because you can't treat people that way throughout your life and not have very negative things happen to you sooner or later. You can make a book on it. Number two, the daily life of the narcissist. They do reap what they sow in a variety of ways. It's really easy to look at these people, and trust me, I understand. I have a peculiar situation myself. It's where I occasionally have to see this person, occasionally, and you think they're doing great. At least it appears they're doing great. And they have to act that way. That's the mask that they wear, where they're going to convince the world and gaslight themselves into believing that their world is going well. They know it isn't, and it's always temporary. Like every time they get a new supply source or a new person, they're going to convince themselves, this is the one. Oh yeah, this is great. Oh, this is not like my other exes. Right. Give it time. Just give it time. And so they're going to do these things to themselves, but every day they actually live with it. These people are nervous wrecks. They're anxious. They can't sit still. They can't stop plotting and scheming. There is a carnival of chaos that goes on. You know the carnival of chaos they put everyone else through? Devaluation and high and low, and it's up and down, and it's a roller coaster ride. Well, you know what? They feel that too. And that cycle continues. When you remove yourself from it, or they remove you, guess what? It doesn't stop. It only stops for you if you get out. It doesn't stop for them. They're up late at night texting people, messaging people, mulling over their situation, having outs with their current supply, going through their phones, throwing them out. You name it. Their life is constant drama and turmoil and chaos, and they thrive on it, but it also affects them. You better believe this is going to have impact on their health. Getting very poor rest, always anxious, high blood pressure, drama. Yeah, that's going to take a toll. And that's why many of these people get very sick later in life, or they have crazy, strange health problems. Because you can't, just like I said on the first point, you can't do this. You can't live this life all the time and not have serious ramifications. You can't have serious problems. They're going to come back on you eventually. So their health is going to blow up. They're also going to cycle through to the point where they start to lose their looks, their value, their appeal, and they're going to be stuck with whatever Joe or Jill Schmo that they can find, because they can't be alone. So they're going to be stuck at some point down the road in their life, and maybe little bits and pieces throughout the way, where they're with people they can't stand. But they got to be with somebody. But they're going to sit and think to themselves, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm with this person. Years ago, I had that person. Oh my gosh, I blew it up. And now I'm sitting here next to Fatboy Slim. They're going to think that. So, when I say that, I just mean some Joe Schmo or Jill Schmo who's got very low value. probably not kind, probably not decent, probably not loving, probably not at all attractive. That's inevitable for them. It's going to happen. So they're going to reap it in that sense too, because their supply is going to run out at some point in time. And I've seen that specifically recently with a particular narcissist who's in her 60s. All the people fawned after her for many, many, many years. She's older now, and she has lost the goods. Let's just put it that way. And she is settling for whatever thing she can find walking the road. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. So that is all of that stuff is why they reap what they sow. The nonstop drama, the carnival of chaos, the demonic attachment that they have. These people live every day under demonic oppression. Whatever smiley face they put on when they're at work or you see them, that is a facade. They masquerade. It's a joke. You can't buy into that. Again, I'm preaching to myself because we all feel this way at times. If you think that narcissist is doing well, you are dead wrong. They may, for very small periods of time, be running high and riding high on what they got and gaslighting themselves, and this is great, but they're just tricking themselves, and it will come crashing down. They'll wake up in the near future, no matter what their situation is, no matter who it is, no matter what it is, they're going to wake up and say, oh my gosh, I'm unsatisfied, I'm unhappy, this sucks, I'm imprisoned in my situation, because that's the way they work. Nothing is ever good enough, it can't be. And that's another reason why we can add this to the list of the daily things that the narcissist reaps. Because they are never satisfied. Can you imagine living your life where you literally are never pleased with the way anything is going? Nobody is conceivably good enough. You know that every relationship is going to fail and collapse and shatter to the floor eventually, probably sooner than later, because you can't have good things. A narcissist can't have good things. They must blow it up. If things go too well for very long at all, they're going to throw a wrench into the machine and watch that thing blow up. Because they have to. It's sort of written into their contract with the devil. There's no peace for the narcissist. There's not. So that's like I said, add that to the list. Imagine searching your whole life, running away from your true self, running into the arms of this, that, and the other person, being on a continuous loop that never, ever, ever ends. Sounds fun, right? Sounds to me like basically hell on earth. And that's what it is for a narcissist. They have that continuous cycle. A good friend, Soldier Up Productions, go check his channel out, Soldier Up Productions. We talk pretty regularly, and he told me about this. It made sense, the shame to pride cycle that they're on. They resonate so low, they can only get up to this very low level of shame. They can't rise to the higher levels of love and empathy and happiness and joy, and they can't. The highest they go is this thing called shame. It's pride. Sorry. They go up to pride, and then they fall down to shame. And they continue to do this over and over and over. And that's their life cycle. So don't think that these people have it good. And if you were truly, not everybody is, but if you were truly the best person that they ever had, you gave to a fault, you did backflips, handstands, I'm getting my things confused, backflips and handstands and sat on your head for these people, they're not going to replace that. How many people out there, or how many people do you meet that are like that you could be in a relationship with? Pretty rare. They don't just go on to that. They don't go from great person to great person to great person. It's a video I'm going to do. They don't do that. It's impossible to do that. It's impossible for anyone to do that. So they live with the daily tragedy. This is what I'm getting at, of knowing that they blew up the best thing they ever had in you. And again, you know if you were that for them. Some are, some aren't. But if you're watching this, there's a high probability you either were the greatest thing they have, or you were very, very high on the list. And they are going to look back at times in their life, and they're going to lament. Like I said, they're sitting next to this person they can't stand. It's the best they can do because they blew up everything that was decent before that, including you, including me. There's agony in that. They're still partially human. There's still some humanity in them. They know the difference between a high caliber person, a high value person, and a low caliber person, a low value. They know the difference. They don't care about that person deeply, but they sure care about what you offered them, and they'll remember that. So the narcissist's daily life really is a mess. Do they have some moments of happiness and fun and joy? Fleeting. Very fleeting, because if they have that in their lives, they'll blow it up for themselves. These people. Just try to figure them out. Number 3. If all of that doesn't convince you that the narcissist will reap what they sow, also understand there's something that awaits all of us at the end of this world. When Christ returns, when there's a new heaven, a new earth, this age ends, this world as we know it ends, the last days come to a close, we all are going to stand before God's judgment seat. And we will be rewarded or condemned according to our deeds. Yes, we're saved by faith. I'm not getting into faith and works. I have a very strong view on that. But for the sake of this, what I'm saying is everyone will give an account to God for what they did. You'll answer ultimately in an everlasting sense for what you did. Can you imagine what the narcissist is going to experience when they stand before God and they can't lie anymore, and they can't gaslight God, and they can't gaslight themselves anymore? Because I think in that moment they have to face it for maybe the first time and only time in their whole lives. They have to really face what they did, and they will. The terror of that day, and they're gonna have a first-class ticket. They're going to be in the high seats, a first-class trip to Gehenna, but hell, what the Bible, the New Testament calls hell, the lake of fire, the place will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. They're going to be there. You can make a book on it, because you cannot treat people this way throughout the course of your lives and run from God and reject God and rebel and be an outright rebellion and torture people. And don't think for 1 minute that them torturing you, a person of the light, person of faith, a soldier of God, don't think for 1 second that they're not going to face serious judgment for that one. What they did to you is going to come back on them. Even if they don't get every last bit of it during this life, they're going to get, like I said, they're going to get theirs in this life as time goes on, especially. They're going to. But whatever they don't get, boy, oh boy, it's going to be a sad day when they get their everlasting judgment. And they know what they lost, and they know what they gave up on, and they have the anguish of eternal separation from God. And they're going to know what they did to you and what they did to me. And not just us. We can sometimes get fixated on what they did to us. And that matters, right? Tremendously. But think about what they did to everyone else before you, and what they did to do to everyone else after you. Now, yeah, if you're a person of God, a saint, one of God's saints, which everyone who truly believes in Christ is a saint, according to Scripture. If you're one of those, boy, oh boy, it's going to be bad for them. But they may have blown up numerous people of faith. They may have, and they've sure blown up a lot of people who don't have faith. They're going to answer not just for what they did to you, but what they did to everybody. So I want to be clear about this. These 3 ways. They're gonna meet people because of how bad their behavior is and what they do, and they're going to meet the wrong person sooner or later. Very likely, and that's going to be a sad and ugly day for them. The second thing is they're going to reap what they sow every day, in a million ways. Go back and watch the earlier part of the video if you need refreshed on it. So 1,000 ways they're going to reap what they sow in this life now and every day and going forward. And it's going to get worse and worse. And then the cherry on the sundae. And I don't take pleasure in this. I shouldn't even say it that way. There's no pleasure in this. It's horrific. But they have paved their way. They will be cast out at the end. They will be estranged from God forever. They will know what they could have had and what they lost. They will know what they did to you, me, and everybody else. They will face the ultimate wrath of God because they're not under the blood. They're not forgiven. They're not repentant. They don't repent. They don't take accountability for anything. They're not under the blood of Christ. They're not. See, Christ's blood, it buys us back. It's spiritual currency. It buys us back from the spiritual powers in the heavenly realm. Satan, the god of this world, has ownership over human beings who are not under the blood of Jesus. And you, believer, me, believer, we were purchased back by the blood. That's what it did. You wonder why? I should do another video on that. You wonder why the blood matters? That's why. It's got buying power, the most powerful. The blood of the Son of God has the most powerful buying power of anything in existence. That's why it's so precious. The narcissist isn't under the blood. It's going to be a tough day, a tough eternity. So don't think, these reasons, do not think in conclusion that God has forgotten about the narcissist. That they've just gone on to bigger and better things, and their life is going to be roses and daisies. It's not. Not by a long shot. So anytime you're starting to think, hey, maybe the narcissist is going to get away with it. Maybe they are doing great and they're on to better things, and they didn't pay for what they did to me and other people, and they're doing fine. No, they're not. And God has not forgotten about the narcissist. Hope this is helpful for you guys. I really appreciate the new subscribers and any comments. It's wonderful hearing from you guys and your experiences. I really do hope this is helping some people. That's the whole point of this. And so if it is, consider commenting or reaching out and talking about it. I'd love to hear from you. So would the people in the community. So anyway, I'll come at you with another one here soon. Until then, God bless.